Men over 60? If you've been quietly wondering why your body doesn't respond like it used to, why the spark you once had is now just a flicker, this isn't just aging. What if I told you? There's something small, something natural that could reignite everything you thought was gone without a single pill? No one's talking about this. Not your doctor, not the commercials. But what's happening down there is not permanent, and it's not your fault. In the next few minutes, you'll learn what most men discover too late. Men over 60? If you've been feeling dull, disconnected, or just not yourself, especially down there, listen closely. Because what's happening to you isn't just age, it's not just part of getting older. It's something no doctor ever warned you about, and it starts silently. Inside your plate. Most men don't even realize it. You wake up one morning feeling a little less alive. Then a few weeks later, your drive disappears. Confidence fades. You start making excuses. And you think it's just age. But here's the truth. You didn't dry up. You weren't broken. You were simply never told what your body truly needs. After 60, to keep the blood flowing, the fire burning, and the manhood alive, there's a natural fuel used by warriors in freezing mountains that can restore vitality in ways no pill ever could. Not a gimmick, not a trend. Something rooted in nature, studied in science, and forgotten by modern life. Before we reveal it, take a second to ask yourself, when was the last time you felt strong as a man, not just physically, but emotionally? Intimately, what changed? Chances are your testosterone didn't just vanish. What disappeared was your body's ability to circulate blood properly, because testosterone needs one thing to work. One thing that no one talks about, blood flow, and blood flow needs healthy vessels. Flexible, clean, and strong from the inside. That's the missing link no supplement label mentions. So what's silently blocking this? Years of inflammatory foods. Processed fats, chronic stress, poor sleep. Medications that shrink circulation like a vice grip. Over time, your endothelium, the delicate lining of your blood vessels, gets damaged. It can't expand. It can't let the blood rush when and where it matters most. Now here's the twist. There's a food hidden in cold forests pressed into golden oil. It's called pine. Not oil. And it's unlike anything you've tried, used by Siberian hunters and tribesmen for centuries. This oil comes from trees that survive brutal -40°F winters. Inside those seeds is something remarkable: phenolenic acid, combined with arginine. It stimulates nitric oxide, a natural gas your body makes to open up blood vessels. But that's just the start. Studies show pine nut oil helps repair endothelial walls, reduce cholesterol, and increase circulation throughout the body, including where it matters most for a man's confidence, 1 teaspoon a day. That's all it takes. In 2022, a study published in a Russian clinical journal tracked older men supplementing with cold-pressed pine nut oil. After just 6 weeks, most participants reported firmer morning wood, increased interest in intimacy, and a lift in overall mood and energy. Not because of testosterone injections, not because of blue pills, but because their vessels opened back up, blood returned, sensation returned, life returned. Now think of this. What else in your life suffers when your circulation slows down? Your focus, your memory, your stamina, your connection with your spouse, your sense of self. This isn't just about intimacy. It's about reclaiming the choice to feel like a man again. The ability to decide when and how to show up fully in body and presence and passion. Take Tom, 67. Quiet, slow, sitting on the sidelines of life. Then he made one change. 1 teaspoon of pine nut oil every morning, combined with a 15-minute walk and cutting out sugar after dinner. By week 3, he said, it wasn't that I became younger, I just stopped feeling old. You can start today. No pills, no pressure. Just a root oil from nature, a daily ritual, and a reason to rise again. If anything in this message made you pause, if you saw yourself in even one sentence, You're not alone. And you're not stuck. There's strength in the decisions you make today. This isn't about being 25 again. It's about not giving up on the man you still are. You built a life for others. Now it's time to rebuild you. And if this spoke to you, drop one word in the comments. Return. Because sometimes that's all we really want. To return to who we were and who we still can be. You wake up, you sit on the edge of the bed. And for a split second, you wonder, why doesn't it feel like it used to? You tell yourself it's just age, maybe stress, maybe being tired. But deep down, you remember how it used to feel. Not just the mornings, but the desire, the strength, that quiet confidence in your body, that fire, and now, it's just not there. But what if I told you it was never really gone? What if the reason isn't age, but something happening inside you right now that almost no one talks about? See, most men think low testosterone is the reason they're feeling flat. But what if testosterone isn't the problem at all? What if your body still makes it, but it can't use it? Because the blood isn't flowing the way it used to? The truth is, testosterone is useless if it can't reach the target. Without circulation, it's like having fuel with no fire, and that's where the real villain hides, in a place you can't see or feel. Until it's too late. It's called endothelial damage. The slow breakdown of the lining inside your blood vessels. The part responsible for releasing nitric oxide. The one molecule that makes everything down there work properly. Years of processed food. Fried oils. Sitting too long. Pills. Stress, all of it slowly chipped away at your inner highway until traffic stopped, and suddenly, even though the desire is still there, the body doesn't respond. You don't get that same warning signal. You feel less interested in intimacy. Not because the fire is gone, but because the match can't catch. And here's the twist. Most men never realize this. They blame themselves, their partner, their age. But the truth is, this can change. Not with blue pills, not with painful injections, but with a quiet shift that starts in the most unexpected place, your kitchen. There's a natural way to support endothelial repair. Foods rich in allerginine. Foods high in flavonoids. Foods that rebuild that inner lining and bring blood back to where it matters most. Pumpkin seeds are one of them. Small, simple, forgotten, but packed with zinc, magnesium, and natural plant sterols, the very building blocks your body uses to boost nitric oxide and testosterone synergy. When combined with even light movement, hydration, and deep sleep, this one seed starts the reversal. Now, let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you felt proud of your body? Not how it looked, but how it performed. When was the last time you felt connected? Not just in your head, but in your heart, in your hands, in your presence. Most men don't talk about it. But that doesn't mean it's not eating away at them. If you've been avoiding mirrors, avoiding moments, avoiding the question, it's time, because there's a way back. But it doesn't start in the doctor's office. It starts right here with you. You've spent years giving your strength to your job, your family, your responsibilities. Now your body is whispering, asking, begging for some of that strength to return home. And it can one handful of fighting for some of that strength, or having this some of that strength to return home. And it can one handful of, pumpkin seeds a day, one deep breath every morning. One promise to yourself that this isn't the end. It's the beginning. Because feeling flat doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're being called to rise. And if even one line here spoke to you, if you saw a glimpse of the man you used to be, then this isn't a video. It's a wake up. The comeback starts here. There's a reason ancient warriors never needed pills to feel powerful. Because they had something we've forgotten. A secret. Born in forests so cold, even fire froze. A thick, golden oil, pressed from the nuts of Siberian pine trees. Trees that don't just survive -40 degrees Fahrenheit. They thrive in it. You won't find it in commercials. You won't see it on pharmacy shelves. But for generations, this was the lifeline of strength. The silent weapon of men who had to hunt, fight, endure, and protect. Not in offices, but in snow, storms, and silence. Now, before you scroll away, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your body is strong, but only halfway there? That something's missing, something you can't name, but you feel it in your bones, your blood, your breath? That's not imagination. That's circulation. Because no matter how healthy your heart seems, if your blood isn't moving where it needs to, especially down there, you lose more than performance. You lose confidence, motivation, identity. And this is where Siberian pine nut oil comes in, not as a cure, but as a signal to your body, a spark that wakes up the system you forgot you had. Let's break it down. Inside every tablespoon of cold-pressed pine nut oil is a compound called arginine, a natural amino acid that your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to open up, widen, flow free. It's what creates the difference between I want to and I can. But here's the kicker. This oil doesn't stop at arginine. It contains something even rarer. Pinolenic acid, an omega fatty acid almost exclusive to Siberian pine nuts. Pinolenic acid does two powerful things. First, it lowers LDL cholesterol, helping clean the blood highways that matter most. Second, it enhances blood flow to the lower region, restoring warmth, firmness, and sensation many men haven't felt in years. And if you've ever been told that your problems are just age, this part will shock you, because pine nut oil is rich in vitamin E, antioxidants, and plant sterols, all of which help reverse endothelial damage. That's the slow, invisible erosion of the inner lining of your blood vessels, the same damage that quietly steals your edge without warning. You don't feel it happening, you just notice. One day you don't respond the same, you're not as quick, not as connected, not as you. And yet, in parts of Russia, Mongolia, and Northern Europe, men over 60 still walk for miles in the snow, still work with their hands, still feel young in their hearts and their bodies. Why? Because they never stopped using what nature gave them. Now, I want to bring this closer to home. Think about your mornings. Not when you wake up, but how do you still wake up as a man or just as someone passing through the day? Do you feel your presence in a room? Or do you sometimes feel invisible even to yourself? It's not just nostalgia, it's a call. A call to reclaim something you never truly lost, only buried under years of stress, sugar, sitting, and silence. Siberian pine nut oil isn't magic. It's not a miracle. It's food, real, ancestral, untampered food. And when you take it daily, even 1 teaspoon with breakfast or before bed, it begins. First, the warmth. Then the clarity. Then the quiet confidence that returns in how you stand, speak, and move. And this part may surprise you most. It's not just about performance. It's about presence. It's about that quiet moment when you look in the mirror and say, there he is. That's me. Because manhood was never about pills or ads or approval. It was about flow, strength, silent power, and one ancient oil from trees older than memory might just help you bring it back. If any of this stirred something in you, even a flicker, then maybe, just maybe, it's time the forest remembers. Now it's your turn. If you've made it this far, it's probably because you felt something shift inside. Maybe curiosity, maybe hope, or maybe that quiet voice asking, could this really work for me? Let's not waste time on empty hype. You deserve clarity. You deserve truth. You deserve science that respects your age, your experience, and your goals. So let's talk man to man. Your body's a masterpiece of chemistry. And no matter how old you are, those inner systems, blood flow, hormone, balance, cellular repair, they're still active. They're still listening. They just need the right signal. That's where pine nut oil comes in. Now, you've probably heard of arginine before. It's an amino acid. Sounds simple, right? But inside your body, arginine transforms. It turns into nitric oxide, which acts like a messenger. It tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. And what happens when blood vessels relax? More flow, more oxygen, more life, especially where it counts. It's not just about intimacy. It's about feeling strong when you get out of bed. It's about not avoiding the stairs. It's about standing tall again. And meaning it. But pine nut oil doesn't stop there. It contains a rare fatty acid called phenolenic acid, found almost nowhere else in nature. Think of your blood vessels like old frozen pipes in winter. The kind that creak and barely let water through. This oil doesn't just turn the faucet, it melts the ice. In simple terms, better circulation. Not just to your legs or your heart, but to the regions that fuel energy, confidence, and connection. Now add antioxidants to the mix, natural defenders inside the oil that fight inflammation and oxidative stress. What does that mean in plain English? It means your body has less junk to clean up and more room to rebuild what matters. Think of it like this, you're not trying to become someone else. You're just clearing the roadblocks between you and the man you've always been. Still skeptical? You should be. You've seen enough empty promises by now. But here's what researchers in Russia found in a 2022 study. Men over 55 who took cold-pressed pine nut oil daily, just 1 teaspoon for 6 weeks, reported powerful changes. Morning erections returned, energy went up. And most importantly, confidence came back. That's what happens when your body isn't fighting itself anymore, when the chemistry is back in sync. When the fire, not just in your muscles, but in your mindset, starts burning again. Now let's get personal. Maybe you're watching this while sitting in the same chair you've sat in for years. Maybe there's a part of you that doesn't expect much anymore. A part that thinks, that sounds great, but not for me. But let me ask you something. When did you decide to stop believing in your own body? When did you agree to let the world convince you that age equals decline? Because your body hasn't given up. Your blood still pumps, your cells still repair. Your hormones still whisper. They're waiting, and all it takes is one small step forward, one natural shift to tell your body, I'm still in this fight. And no, this isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming your rhythm. Remember when you felt powerful? Without even thinking about it, that didn't disappear. It just fell asleep. And sometimes something simple like a teaspoon of oil, full of ancient energy, is enough to wake it back up. You're not here because you gave up. You're here because something in you knows. You're not done yet. So don't just watch. Reflect. Ask yourself, what have I accepted that I no longer have to? What if feeling like me again isn't a fantasy, but a formula? And if this moment sparked even a flicker of belief, even a flicker, then don't let it pass. Hold on to it, because real change doesn't start in the gym, or the kitchen, or even the bottle. It starts right here, when you decide to believe that the man in the mirror is still evolving. His name is Tom. He's 67. He's probably a lot like someone you know, or maybe he's 67. He's 67. He's probably a lot like someone you know, or maybe someone you see in the mirror. Tom didn't have a disease. He wasn't on a dozen pills. But quietly, something inside him had gone dim. And no one noticed, not even him at first. It started the way it often does. Slower mornings, colder evenings, little things, fewer jokes. Shorter talks, less laughter. His wife called it aging gracefully, but Tom, he didn't feel graceful, he felt invisible. Not just to her, but to himself. He didn't talk about it because what was there to say? This was just what happened after 60, right? Less energy, less intimacy, less him. Then one morning, standing in front of the mirror, Tom said something quietly to himself, words he didn't expect. Is this it? Not angrily, not sadly. Just honestly. But what happened next, that's why you're still here. Tom stumbled upon something odd. Not a supplement, not a pill, not a commercial. It was a story. A short one about warriors in ancient Siberia who used a certain oil before battle. Not for pain, not for wounds, but for strength, for presence. For energy. It was pine nut oil. Tom raised an eyebrow. Oil? He muttered. What could oil do at my age? But something in him, that old part, the curious part, was still awake. Still watching. So he ordered it. One small bottle. Cold-pressed, golden, rich. It smelled faintly of the forest. Earthy, real. He took just 1 teaspoon every morning. Nothing fancy, no radical diet. He didn't join a gym or cut out everything he loved. He just made a promise. I'll show up for myself. Every morning. By day 3, something subtle had shifted. Not his body, not yet, but his mind. The fog wasn't as thick. His walks felt lighter. His breath came easier. By day 10, his wife noticed he was humming while making coffee. By day 15, she asked if he had changed something. Tom smiled. Just breathing more, he joked. By day 30, she touched his hand while watching a movie. Not absent-mindedly, but intentionally. Like she saw him again, and that night, for the first time in what felt like years, Tom felt like a man. Again, not young, not invincible, but himself. He wrote something in his journal that night. It's not about being 25 again. It's about not giving up on the man you still are. Pine nut oil didn't give Tom a miracle. It gave him momentum. And here's where it gets real. Studies now show that the key compounds in Siberian pine nut oil, like phenolic acid, arginine, and vitamin E, can support nitric oxide production, restore blood flow, and protect testosterone function. But science aside, it's what it did for Tom's belief that mattered, because belief is biology. When you believe something in your body can work again. It often does. Now, if you're still watching, maybe you're not just curious. Maybe you're like Tom. Maybe you've asked that same mirror question. Is this it? But here's the truth. If you're still asking, then no. This isn't it. Because Tom didn't find a secret. He just remembered something most men forget after 60, that you can still make a change. A real one, and sometimes all it takes is 1 teaspoon, 1 walk, 1 decision. So maybe it's not about fixing everything. Maybe it's just about starting again, and maybe, just maybe, this time it's your story. You wake up, same bed, same aches, same error. But today, what if one small change, a single step in the morning, could shift everything? Not a routine, a ritual. The kind that tells your body, your brain, your hormones, we're not done. Yet. Start with 1 teaspoon, cold-pressed pine nut oil. It may sound simple, but inside that golden drop is a chain reaction waiting to happen. Because when that oil hits your system, it begins to support nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your blood vessels to open, to flow, to carry life where it's been missing. Especially down there, but don't stop there. Step outside. 15 minutes of sunlight, no sunglasses. Just skin, sun, and silence. This light hits your eyes, triggers your hypothalamus, and starts a hormonal cascade, boosting testosterone and resetting your circadian rhythm. It's not just light, it's a signal, a wake-up call. Now pause. Breathe, box breathing. 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds out. Hold, repeat. This calms the nervous system, drops cortisol levels, and as science shows, allows testosterone to rise naturally in men over 60. Your stress isn't just mental. It's chemical. And when you tame it, everything changes. Now think back. When's the last time you made a decision for you? Not the pills, not the pressure, just you? Because that teaspoon isn't just oil, it's a message. To your arteries, to your muscles, to your manhood, that you still care. And as you build this morning habit, something else starts to change. You walk a little taller. Your thoughts get sharper. You stop staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. because your body finally feels safe enough to sleep. You don't need to overhaul your life. You need a spark dot, so here's the fire starter. 1 TSP pine nut oil, 15 minutes sunlight, no sugar. Before noon, 5 minutes deep breathing, that's it. It won't feel dramatic at first. But neither does erosion, and look at what that does to stone. Now imagine that in reverse. Rebuilding, drop by drop, breath by breath. And here's something you won't hear in commercials. Your body remembers. How to feel, how to function. How to fight. It's waiting for you to believe it again. Some men will watch this and scroll past, but some will feel something stir. If that's you, lean in. Because tomorrow morning when the light comes in, and the air is still, your choice will echo louder than any pill ever could. And if any part of this hit home, ask yourself, what would happen if I actually tried it just for 7 days? Your comeback doesn't need permission. It needs a pattern, and this is where it begins. You've probably noticed it, not just in your body, but in your choices. The hesitation to say yes to an evening walk. The way you avoid mirrors, not out of vanity, but out of memory. That fire you once had, it didn't burn out. It got starved out, and the truth is, men over 60 aren't falling apart. They're being pulled down by something they were never warned about. Slow, silent loss of blood flow. It's not just physical. It reaches deeper, into your confidence, your decisions, your ability to show up fully for your partner, your purpose, your pride. Most men think it's just age. But that's not the whole story. When circulation drops, it doesn't knock loudly. It whispers first, through weaker mornings, through less stamina, through quiet frustration. And then one day, the whisper becomes a symptom, and the symptom becomes your story. But what if you caught it now? What if you interrupted the script? Science says one of the first signs of cardiovascular decline starts down there. Not in your chest, not in your blood pressure, but in your ability to feel, to perform, to connect. Because when blood stops flowing freely, every part of you suffers. Not just the physical, but your very identity as a man. And if you're still listening right now, it means something in you knows this matters. Because this isn't just about intimacy. It's about vitality, motivation, the way you walk into a room or don't. So here's the shift. Every choice you make today either opens those vessels or tightens them. That late night sugar, that second glass, that skipped movement. It's not harmless. It's building a wall around your heart, your drive, your manhood, but you're not powerless. Nature has always left a trail. From pomegranate seeds that increase nitric oxide, to beetroot that fuels vasodilation, to magnesium-rich pumpkin seeds that quietly open the door to stronger, more consistent flow. These aren't supplements, they're signals. And your body listens when you send the right ones. You don't need a revolution. Just one commitment. Don't ignore what your body is whispering. Because when you do, it won't stay quiet. It will scream through prescriptions, through fatigue, through regrets whispered into your pillow at 2 a.m. But if you act now, even just one small step, you rewrite the ending. And if this message spoke to something real inside you, maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe today is exactly the day you were supposed to hear it. Now ask yourself, gently, honestly, what's one change you're willing to make before the week ends? Not for perfection, for power. For proof that you still choose you. You built a life. For decades, you've worked, protected, sacrificed for others. You've been strong for everyone around you. But somewhere along the way, you stopped choosing yourself. Not out of weakness, but because that's what good men do. You put others first, but now your body is asking a question. Quietly at first, then louder. What about me? Maybe you felt it, a slow drain, not just in energy, but in drive, in desire, in that deep inner spark that once made you feel unstoppable. It's not gone, it's not age. It's not weakness, it's a message. See, the latest science says that men over 60 don't lose strength because they grow older. They grow older because they lose strength, silently, cell by cell. Blood flow slows, hormones shift, muscles fade. And no one tells you until it shows up where it hurts most: in confidence, in connection, and how you see yourself. And that's why we're here. Not to scare you, but to show you that this isn't the end. It's a signal, a reminder. Your body isn't giving up, it's waiting. Waiting for one small signal from you to start the repair. This is the moment most men either look away or look within, and if you've made it this far, it means you're still listening. Because you still care. Because deep down, you know, there's more to live and more to feel. But to unlock that, you don't need pills. You don't need gimmicks. You need to reconnect with what your body was designed to do. Heal, grow, and thrive with the right support. Simple changes like adding magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, walking 20 minutes in the morning sun, getting a full night's sleep. They may sound small, but together they wake your body up. And when circulation returns, when testosterone rises naturally, when strength starts to rebuild, you don't just feel better. You feel you. So let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you felt proud of how you showed up for yourself? Maybe it's been a while. That's okay. Because the comeback doesn't need an announcement. It starts in silence with one decision. If this message felt like it was meant for you, maybe it was. And maybe it's time. Not for anyone else. Just for the man you still are, under the noise, under the doubt, under the years. So if you're ready to start again, not harder, but smarter, let that first step be this one. You're not done. You're just getting started.